The rest of this hour will be spending with the Aphex Twin. It's coming to Los Angeles for a performance as part of Organic 97 set for Saturday, September 20th. The Aphex Twin and new material. Up next on KCRW's Morning Becomes Eclectic from New York. It's called Four. That is from the Richard D. James album, The Aphex Twin. It's Morning Becomes Eclectic on 89.9 KCRW. Most recent album released by Richard D. James. And it's good to have Richard D. James with us here in the studio at KCRW. We are broadcasting from the New York studios of Morning Becomes Eclectic. And thanks so much for joining us. I mean, you're here in New York for CMJ. You actually were at a party last night for the opening party for CMJ. How'd that go? Did you have fun with that?
Yeah, it was a good laugh. It's just like more of an indie street thing than a real sort of show, though.
So it's sort of compact.
Yeah, it's just I've had to make a short set, which is a bit bad for people who wanted to come and see it. The New York sort of bit of the tour.
Well, how do you look at the DJ opportunities, the opportunities to present your stuff in live performance? Is it, I mean, certainly there's a promotional aspect to it, but is it a workshop for you?
Well, it's more of a good laugh than anything else. Like, just that's the biggest motivation for doing it. Just bring all my mates along and have a right good time.
But is there, I mean, how much of it is an improvisational thing? How much of it is it just, you know what I mean? How much of it?
Yeah, it depends what tracks they are, really. Some tracks I don't like to change much at all. Just maybe the actual mix of it. And some tracks I'll totally change. It depends what mood I'm in. Sometimes I just don't want to change anything, so I won't. And other times I'll completely muck everything up.
I see. So it's just a matter of if you're bored with the track, or just.
It's usually boredom. I'll start taking it apart. But I can't really completely reconstruct anything. Just rearrange and remix and change some of the sounds. There's
been sort of a mystical quality attached to your identity because of the fact that you use the name Aphex Twin. Seems as though with this most recent album that you've been, I don't know, revealing more of a personal side of yourself. That's just an impression from my point of view. Is it true, or?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I haven't really tried to sort of change the way I've thought about presenting myself or anything. I've always just followed my nose, basically. Done things instinctively.
Well, how long have you been operating under the moniker the Aphex Twin?
I think, well, I used to use it before I had any records out or anything, just as a name I made up when I was little.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like a game sort of thing almost. But
so you were before you were even in your teens, or?
Yeah. So it was just a name like a kid's name sort of thing.
Yeah, like an imaginary.
Yeah. It's just like a stupid word that that just I remembered and thought would be a good thing to use.
So you don't really remember the way you came up with it or how it came about?
Yeah, I know why I've got the name, but it just stuck and I decided to keep using it.
Is it a reason you can share with us?
Yeah, it's just it's to do with my brother, because he's my twin brother, because he's got the same name as me, and but he died at birth, and my mum gave me his name, sort of thing, didn't really want to accept him dying, and just sort of made me the next born in with the same name into him, sort of thing.
So he would have been your older brother.
Yeah.
And he died at birth, and when you came along, it was, I guess, like you're saying, it was a way for your mother to sort of
accept it, sort of thing. Just made it easier for her. But I felt a bit guilty because I've basically nicked his name. So.
Well, perhaps that was you, and you've come.
Well, I've sort of get a really strong sort of protective presence from him anyway. I mean, I could be totally imagining it, but I don't reckon I am. And so I don't reckon he's pissed off.
Well, it's sort of striking when you open up the album, and in the artwork there's a photograph of his gravestone. And then you call the album Richard D. James. Is it
But I just call it Richard D. James because I'm D, and he was just Richard James without the D.
What does the D stand for?
David.
David. Well, how long ago did you start messing with the machines?
Well, I've been into machines since I was little. Any sort of toys or anything that's some sort of mechanics or electronics, always been into it basically.
Or were you the guy that would take apart your tape recorders?
Yeah,
and
that sort of person, totally. Never put them back together.
Do you remember the first piece of music you gravitated to that you liked? That
No, I didn't used to like any music when I was little. I always used to think there was probably music out there that I would like, but I didn't get to hear it until I was a lot older. And all the stuff I used to hear around me, so I used to hate. Made music for a good 5 years before liking anyone else's.
So when did the bridge from loving the machines to the music happen?
Just by accident, really. It was just like, for me, music to start off, it was just a game sort of thing. It still is a game, really. But it was like a real sort of childish game when I first used to do it. Just like playing on my, cars or anything like that. And but I just got, more and more into it and started recording things and liking what was, I like listening back to things I'd done.
So the stuff that would stick would be the stuff that you just got some pleasure out of?
Yeah, before it was just recording sounds and stuff on tape. That's what you first used to do, and just play around with the sounds, loop them around and change them and stuff.
You definitely have a flair for the tenderness in music. I mean, are you a fan of classical music? Were your parents classical aficionados? Or?
No, not really. Both my parents don't really. Pretty non-musical, really. They used to listen to music, not much so. Wow.
How would you attribute the instincts that are coming through on a piece like Girl Boy that we just heard?
I think it's mainly just like loving strings, basically. Just always loved string instruments. It's really like the subtleties of them. And I get quite a good laugh trying to recreate strings sort of electronically, trying to get them as real sounding as possible.
Well, you've done a good job. Those are all electric strings we just heard?
Yeah, some of it's generated, some of it's sampled from my own violin.
From your own violin, your own playing?
Yeah, I can't play, but just enough. I can play enough to be able to sample it and stuff.
Well, the sounds that you do integrate into the work, is it always coming from you or from your room, or well, no, it's not. I know it's not true because there's so many examples of you bringing in outside stuff, but you try to find things that are more organic in nature.
Not really. Just try and make things as personal as possible.
Personal in what way?
Well, things like I don't make music that doesn't do something to me in some shape or form. Basically, otherwise it's a waste of time. It's got to affect me in some way when I listen back to it, or when I'm making it. And that's the only sort of underlying requirement of any track that I do for me.
Sounds like then you're after trying to bring some emotional content to it.
Oh yeah, totally. It's my favourite music, basically. If there's no emotion in it, it's rubbish.
Well,
it just becomes like a technical exercise.
It seems as though the music that you're doing would really suit itself well for film. Have you?
Yeah, I've had like a few offers and stuff, but it's really hard to work with sort of directors because I can't settle for anything less than complete control when you don't really get it for film. So you have to be pushed around quite a lot.
To actually compose for film.
Yeah, you've got to be well flexible to sort of compromise what you're doing, basically, and I couldn't do that.
But if your music were taken in its existing form and laid into a film, that would be a different.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even stop people from doing it anyway. So, but yeah, then I wouldn't have anything to do with it.
Well, you do have control over it. I mean, you can say no, I don't want this to be used, and if.
Well, you'd be surprised.
Really? Well, I guess piracy happens.
Yeah.
But you're talking to the right audience here,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's either that or people just think that it's like, oh, I thought you did say yes, we could do this.
I could have sworn you said yes. Well, you've brought with you a new album. Well, it's actually 2 EPs that are coming out in the UK
Americans
soon.
just made it into an album, but it wasn't supposed to be.
Wasn't supposed to be an album, but the American issue is going to be all
Yeah.
one disc. So that would explain the various mixes.
yeah. That's just for the English thing.
But it's called Come to Daddy, and it's coming in late October. This one is, speaking of film, I don't know if this has anything to do with the word film, but it's Flim, F-L-I-M.
It's just a made-up word.
Just a made-up word.
Yeah.
Richard D. James, the Aphex Twin, with us in studio. It's Morning Becomes Eclectic. It's called Flim. That's from a forthcoming album from the Aphex Twin. It's due on Sire Records, October 21st, it looks like. It's called Come to Daddy. It's really the pairing of two EPs that are coming out in the UK. For the American release, they put together on one compact disc, and it's forthcoming work from the Aphex Twin. Richard D. James, who is with us from New York on Morning Becomes Eclectic. I'm Chris Douridas. We are in Midtown Manhattan, broadcasting from the Sony Studios, where we are shooting a third and final cycle of performances for Sessions at West 54th, the public television music performance and interview program that's airing Saturday nights nationwide on PBS. The track we just heard, Flim, you mentioned before we headed into it that it was really just a made-up word, a word that came to you for the title of the piece. It must be one of the most fun aspects of your work, coming up with a title for these things.
It's usually the most laborious, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
The most difficult part?
Well, if they don't exist naturally, then you just have to go and make them up. So, because otherwise people start shouting at you, like publishers and stuff.
Give me a name. I need a name. But the names, where do they tend to come from? Out of thin air, out of your head? Or is there some sort of content in the song that would suggest something to you?
Yeah, they're either just words I've made up, or I like the sound of, or if they haven't got any relevance to the track. Because usually they haven't.
Usually there's no relevance to the track. The title piece on this new project that we're getting a nice sneak preview of, though, it's called Come to Daddy. You've got several mixes of it on here. And oftentimes you'll hear a bit of vocal that's laced through your work. You said to me off air that most of the time it's you, right? Just being sort of playful in the studio and...
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't be bothered to get like vocalists in or anything like that. And so just do it myself. I like doing everything myself anyway.
Well, you do most of the work in what, your living room, your bedroom?
In my bedroom. Every time.
Most of the time?
All of the time, yeah.
Oh, all the time. This mix of Come to Daddy, it's called the Mummy Mix.
Because it's got my mum on it.
Is she? I mean, are you living at home? Or
no.
She just happened to.
Yeah, she's. No, I went back at Christmas when I did the track last year or year before last, and she was just in the room, so I recorded her.
What does she think of your work? How does she react to what you're up to?
She's well into it. She's really into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. She didn't used to like all the really brutal things, all the really sort of harsh things, but she really likes them now. She was plays them when her friends come around and think she's lost the plot.
Have you played her the Mummy Mix?
Yeah, she's well into it. She really likes it. She's about 60, but she loves it. She just laughs all the way through it.
It's called Come to Daddy, Mummy Mix. Find this on the forthcoming release from Aphex Twin. It's coming on Sire Records October 21st. And if you're looking for it in the import bins, you'll find it as 2 EPs. Are they both called Come to Daddy EPs?
Yeah, one's, it's just like 2 series thing.
Yeah, it's such a common thing that a single will be released in the UK, and they'll have 2 or 3 extra tracks, and now it's to the point where there are, in most major single releases, a double CD single.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Is that an opportunity or a frustration?
I don't care either way, actually, to be honest, because I don't really care what's released or how it's released. As long as it's got the music that I like in it, that's all that really matters to me.
Would you consider yourself a prolific type that it's constantly coming, or?
Well, I basically only sort of put out records when people hassle me for them. I don't sort of force my music onto people. I couldn't really do it. Basically, people come around my house and come and get it for me.
Oh, really? So it's like they literally come after you and say, "Hey, it's time to put something out," and then you come up with something?
Pretty much, yeah.
So it's
I
like
don't come up with, it's always already sort of, exists, basically. Now come and get it off me.
Oh, okay. For a second, it sounded like a water faucet. You just go over and like...
Well, it's a bit like that.
Well, that's good. I mean, at least you're finding, constantly being excited by stuff.
Yeah, I love doing it, That's the main thing.
So when you're home, is it a constant tinkering that you're up to?
Yeah, I was supposed to be working all this year, really, but I've just been having a laugh with all my mates and stuff. So I just moved out of a really big sort of house full of all my friends to a massive bank which I bought. So it's been quite sort of lonely.
Did you say a bank?
Yeah, it's quite lonely there on your own.
So you bought a place that was an abandoned bank?
Yeah.
Is the safe still in there?
Yeah, so I've got two massive walk-in vaults. I've got my studio. Well, can have it soon.
Wow. What do you put in the vaults?
Well, at the moment it's got all my valuable stuff for when I came away to America. I just locked it all in there.
Wow. So when you got the papers, they gave you the combinations?
Yeah, no, I had to work it out actually myself because I had all the keys. 4 hours per combination to work it out.
Oh, man.
It's a huge manual from written about 100 years ago.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fascinating.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked. It looks pretty awesome.
Is this in a town centre? Is this...
Yeah, it's pretty much central London.
Wow, so there's like a storefront, no?
It's like a bank front. Get all these people trying to open accounts all the time, keep walking into my house when I leave the doors open.
It's not a bad idea, actually. And
But the teddy bears are like the cashiers at the moment. They sit behind the desk.
The teddy bears are the same teddy bears that were with you on stage last night? Is there been a fascination with teddy bears for a while?
Not really, no.
Okay. I'm just checking. So what was the name of the bank?
It was a Bank of Cyprus.
Huh.
It's like a Greek bank.
Wow.
But they were still using it when I bought it. It's like 50 people working there or something. And I just looked like a scruffy git when I walked in, and it felt really strange to be sort of buying it.
So the bank didn't close down, they just moved elsewhere?
Yeah, they just moved branches.
That's fantastic. We're going to go out with one that closes the album. It's called Is Us. Is there a meaning behind that name, or is it...
It's just totally made up.
Just a totally made up one. Well, I should mention that you're going to be in Los Angeles as part of Organic 97, set for Saturday, September 20th, at the site that it was at last year, up in the mountains outside of Los Angeles, Running Springs, and we hope you have a great one when you come down to Los Angeles, and I appreciate you taking the time to join us here in New York.
No, thanks.
It's kind of nice catching up with you out here. We have the Aphex Twin, Richard D. James, in studio with us. Look for the Come to Daddy release due on Sire Records, October 21st. Thanks a lot, Richard.
Thanks.